even though we've done all of this work, there are some things that still, I just can't believe they're still going on. So these random rogue timekeepers, again, I know that there's this disconnect. The partner is managing the matter on the firm end, and our lawyer has hired that partner to manage the matter. We've agreed on a team of lawyers and paralegals that will be billing to the matter, but somewhere along the line the team changes. Right or wrong, it just happens. And no one ever communicates about that. So invoices get rejected, or they get forgotten about, or whatever, and we really needed to get a handle on timekeepers. So I have some really, really rigid rules in our system about timekeepers. I just can't allow our law firms to add timekeepers because there would be no way for me to manage rates, and also I wouldn't be able to show my lawyers here that the system is actually helping them manage that matter. So we're pretty strict about that. Surprised that we still see billing in quarter hours. I didn't think that actually existed anymore, but we do get bills that get rejected for that reason. Code abuse, if you use one expense code, E124, that equals other, that doesn't allow me the opportunity to do symmetric reporting about how our law firms are spending expense or charging expense, and the same goes for our fees. So there's a reason why we have all of those other task and expense codes. So we talked to our firms about that. Using the law firm matter numbers is kind of a funny one. So law firms will submit the bill and they only have their matter number. So of course when that invoice tries to come into our system, the system has no idea. You know, the only key that would link us to you would be our matter number in the e-billing system. So that actually still happens once in a while. Some of this, like I said, is kind of tongue-in-cheek, but ignoring all the signs of a failed invoice, I get some pretty funny calls from our law firms. They get these email notifications, and the text of the email will say, "You're trying to bill for the past fiscal year," and they'll call me or forward that email and say, "I don't understand why this invoice failed." And so I have kept track of all of these notes and really tried to capture that Q&A and that billing guideline. So hopefully, we're trying to close that gap. The other thing, too, is the successfully submitted invoice. There will be more, attempts to submit the same invoice, and no one checked for the success of it, I guess. But we do have duplicate invoice checks, so that doesn't work so much. Keeping us in the dark. What I mean is, if your bank account changes, if your law firm name changes or moves, if you change your staffing in your billing department, we just really need to know about that so we can avoid all of this kind of lost time. Ignoring our cries for help. At quarter or fiscal year end, I have some demands that I make on our law firms, and it's only because I need to close our fiscal year or I need to report accruals. And so sometimes I don't always get quick feedback on that, and I have some real deadlines, so that's still a little bit of a gap. And I just mentioned a little earlier about billing in the past, so trying to submit bills for things that happened 4 years ago, we're just not going to pay for it, especially because I close our fiscal year end and I give you an amnesty period for billing things in that past fiscal year, and that's your opportunity to make sure there were no loose ends. And the last thing is that statement of account. So I get my mail. Remember, we're paperless in our billing. I get my mail and I get this statement of account that lists all the invoices, and I can't just put it in the shredder. I have to go and look up these invoices because I'm worried that something failed.